Hello Formula 1 and IndyCar fans. Today is February 12th, 2021. Welcome to Formula Pun Racer. You might be wondering, what's with the Canadian getup? Well, it's not quite for humor, but it's to show some respect for someone, which I'll get to in a minute. But to bring up to racing speed, I would like to say that it is unfortunate for all those who had hopes that maybe Ferrari would provide engines for Indy cars. It has been unfortunately said that the Italian stallion has become an Italian chicken. In other words, with Valentine's Day 2 days away, and since it can be considered a holiday of heartbreak for some, I'm afraid to have to say this is going to break your hearts, but if you were hoping for Ferrari to go IndyCar racing, they decided against it. But what's just as heartbreaking is the fact that to get caught up on things that I'm sorry about what happened to Dustin Diamond of Saved by the Bell fame back on the 1st of February and Canada's Christopher Plummer back on the 5th. Yeah, well that's not quite the Canadian reason even though Plummer was from Canada. It's just unfortunate the Bell couldn't save Dustin Diamond from the cancer that claimed him. And I never really watched Saved by the Bell, but I did see one full episode where Zach has to go into surgery for an injury on his knee, and it turned out to be a pretty funny episode at that, where Screech shows up in a lousy Guardian Angel costume and says to Zach in a dream that he's not Screech and that his Guardian Angel's name is Skippy. I know, it's a pretty good one, isn't it? Well, in any case, Godspeed, Dustin, and Godspeed, Christopher Plummer. But the real reason why I'm dressed up in Canadian forme, no pun intended there, is last night I just got word that Canadian IndyCar driver James Hinchcliffe's dad, Jeremy Hinchcliffe, passed away. How? I don't know yet. And I just wanted to say, Mr. Mayor of Hinchtown, also known as James Hinchcliffe, if you're watching this, I wish to extend you my deepest condolences for you, your family, and all your fans, and how I'm really sorry for your loss. So for 10 seconds of silence, for your father, for Plummer, and for Diamond, and for the disappointing fact that Ferrari is out of Indy cars, I shall pause for 10 seconds of silence. Once again, James, I'm sorry for your loss. I hope you win plenty of races this year, especially if you win the Indy 500. Win it for you, for your dad, for Plummer, and especially for Canada. I'm sure it'll be a great experience and a great feeling if you win it, eh?
I love it!
I wish you the best of luck this year in the IndyCar season, James. And it's interesting about your father, who unfortunately left us last night, because yesterday marks 10 years since the voice of the Indy 500, Tom Carnegie, passed away at the age of 90. Oh, now that guy, when he spoke, no offense intended, but whenever he talked, it was like hearing the voice of God. I mean, like, he was one of a kind. The only guy worthy to announce the Indy 500 when it would progress. If you've been to the Indy 500 but don't know the name, between 1946 to 2006, you would know that voice. And here's an example of his stuff.
And he's on it. Larry Lyondike. Same basic pattern. But he's off the floor on the main straightaway. Wayne Sweeney has to check the track record holder is.
It's another new track record. 237.498 miles an hour, lap number 4. And the time 37.895. And race fans, you have seen a 4-lap record, a new track record of 236.986 miles an hour.
So to the President Roger Penske, I say one thing that I suggest you could add to the Speedway facilities. You know how people make voice changers with microphones these days? I suggest you can use your technology and powers or whatever to get the PA system's microphones to speak so that way whenever anyone talks in there, the speakers will sound like Tom Carnegie's voice. It would be great to hear his voice come back again in some capacity. Any average Jane or Joe can talk into it and make it sound like Tom Carnegie at the other end. All the while, keep Dave Calabro the second in command in that area. Because, well, he's on the more jolly side, but he's good too. Hi Dave, if you're watching this. But it would also be great if you managed to persuade Paul Page to come out of retirement to replace Bob Jenkins over the PA system. Not that I have any problem with Bob Jenkins. I mean, I like him in his own way, but Paul Page seems a better fit in IndyCar covering commentation, if you ask me. But that's just my opinion. And if you're watching this, Paul, I hope you like the idea. Well, once again, that's all for that area, and I hope you like the little voice of Tom Carnegie saying he's on it, and it's a new track record. The Indy 500 will never be the same without him. But hopefully, the vaccinations that are going around regarding this pandemic will be enough to make the Indy 500 go with fans like it should. May not be at full capacity, but it's better than no fans at all. And hopefully the racing will be just as exciting with no incident, and let's hope our favorites win the race. Also, in IndyCar news, with Dalton Kellett being Seb Bourdais' teammate at Foyt, for the Indy 500 only, Foyt will be having a third entry. Charlie Kimball is back in the Novo Disc number 4 Chevy. He'll be alongside the number 14 of Bourdais and the 41 of Dalton Kellett. Eh? Yeah, another Canadian humor, because for those who don't know, Kellett is Canadian, just like Hinchcliffe and F1 driver Lance Stroll in the now Aston Martin racing team, which is run by his daddy-o, Lawrence Stroll. Oh, and that reminds me, as for F1 news, I just got word that around the same time last night, Fernando Alonso was in a bicycling accident in Switzerland.
What?
Fractured his jaw, too. He's been hospitalized, but hopefully he should recover in time to make his return to F1 for the Alpine racing team in Bahrain on March 28th. Yeah, once again, sad it is that Ferrari has decided to chicken out of going IndyCar racing. I would highly doubt BMW, Volvo, or even Jaguar would be involved in IndyCars, although that would be interesting. I just pray that Mazda, Porsche, Mercedes, and Toyota and Ford are the ones that we don't see. Now you might be wondering, why, so you don't get mad at me for it? Well, because I'm not a big fan of these engines, and they've already done that before, and I'd like to see some engine manufacturers that have never contested the Indy 500 before. And I'd like to see that, like BMW, Jag, Volvo, or even Aston Martin or Alfa Romeo would be nice. Well, that'd be great. But that too, apparently, just like Ferrari's a pipe dream, but they probably have the budget and finance if they decided to jump ship from where they're doing now. But that's just my opinion.
No problem.
I may have said in a previous video that Aston Martin will unveil their new F1 car in February. My mistake, it will be March. So, with Stroll and Vettel at the wheels of this British car, which will be surprisingly powered by Mercedes, the car will have British Racing green color, that's all I know. I just pray the word Mercedes is not plastered anywhere on the car, because it'll ruin the mystique of the British prestige of the company. But even if Mercedes is a engineering partner with Aston Martin in its own way, it would just seem kind of weird saying Aston Martin powered by Mercedes all over the car. I'm not a big fan of a car having two different car manufacturer logos on it, because for the unprepared, it's a bit confusing. Like Renault with Infiniti, or Aston Martin with Honda on it when it was with Red Bull. Well, now it's just Red Bull, Honda, and no wings on that car anymore. So, with that said, at least with Sergio Perez joining Max Verstappen at Red Bull this year, he's got a good chance at winning some more races. As for Alex Albon of Thailand, who was driving for the Red Bull racing team last year, he'll be driving in the DTM series with Red Bull backing and with a Ferrari car. Pretty neat, huh? But in conclusion, when I said in my previous video that James Hinchcliffe's car will be the 88 that was once piloted by Colton Herta, well, it turns out it's actually going to be number 29 with Genesis sponsor like he did last year at Indianapolis, but it will still be Andretti driving all the same. So, good luck this year, James, And once again, my sincere condolences for your father and for your countryman Christopher Plummer. And I pray that you win plenty of races this year and make it a good one. Well, that's all for now. Tune in for February 27th and 8th if you want to see some shocking racing in Riyadh. Formula E racing starts in Saudi Arabia. The lights go out in Bahrain on March 28th in Formula 1. And the Indycars take off at Barber Park on April 18th. If you like my videos, click the link below to subscribe for more content. I'm Aaron Cylinder, firing on all cylinders.